The views and opinions expressed in the Golden Boot podcast are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Golden Boot podcast as a whole.
Y'all ready to get rolling? Quiet on the set. Hey, welcome back. Another hot episode, HBCU Hour. It's your boy Pooh Bear. I got my man Aunt Petty Murphy in the building. What's good, my boy? You on mute?
What's up with you, bro?
Not much. It's Monday.
Very much so.
Yeah, got the Green Bay Raiders game on, which anyway, man, it was a great weekend of games again. Definitely look forward to talking about it. Man, it's this, man. On Saturdays and stuff, when you watch these games, do you watch and be like, yeah, I'm gonna enjoy talking about this game?
Yeah, for the most part, I try to think about the content of it. You know, as far as which one. Oh yeah, we gotta talk about this part. Oh boy, I ain't gonna want to talk about that.
Yeah. I literally, you know what I'm saying, as I was, clipping through, trying to pull up the different games and stuff, and I started watching the game, we're like, ooh, like, man,
So it ain't looking good for somebody.
Maybe I overanalyze some things. So that's how I be looking at it. Like, yeah, well, then I have to say, I had a prediction beginning of the season.
Yeah.
That prediction ain't looking too bad now. It ain't looking too bad. And I'm like, okay, all right, maybe we gonna see. But definitely looking forward to this. Talking about this. Want to tell everybody in the chat, man. Appreciate y'all for coming through. As always, thank you for watching. You can be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that. Hey, during the broadcast, you can support my page by sending star. That I got to figure out how that been popping up. I don't know how, but yeah. So, we got Facebook stars. We doing, super chats. We taking any help, Cash App, Golden Boot. I think it's PayPal. It's Golden Boot as well. So either way, but man, let's go ahead and get into it. Get into this hot content. Give a shout out to our sponsor over at BetOnline. BetOnline.ag. We'll be back in exactly 1 minute. BetOnline.ag is your number one source for all your sports information, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds, lines, and player injury reports for this year's NBA and NHL playoffs. BetOnline is always your sports information headquarters. This season, we have you covered for all your sports wagering needs. We have everything from NBA, NFL, MLB, and NHL to golf, tennis, UFC, and boxing. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games that you can play right from your home. Head on over to betonline.ag today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Be sure to use the promo code BLEAV to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey, want to go ahead and get started, man. I'm off my game. I ain't put our names up or nothing, but it's all good. Martin in the building. What's good with you? Man, so I got to say, if we're going to talk, we got to start off with one of the best games of the weekend. Got to start off with the game that was, inside the sports lab, Dr. Cavill, wasn't this his game of the week? Got to start off there. FAMU versus Southern. Man, it was a tight game. Southern showed up. They showed up and really had a chance to win this game. Ball didn't boss their way a couple plays, but FAMU ended up getting the win 26-19. Yeah, Josh, I know. Josh got the face palm. He walked into it. But what's good, Josh? I do want on the media conference today, Coach Simmons asked him about that. I don't know if y'all seen it. The in between third and fourth quarter, they did a light show, man. Southern turned the lights off, had the blue lights going. The teams came to the hashes. You know what I'm saying? So talking back and forth to each other. You could tell it was like intense, man. You could feel the energy in there, like,
bro.
Oh man, that atmosphere was just so. Asked Coach Simmons about it. Coach Simmons said, I was terrified. It's like he said, I was terrified. And I know he, you know what I'm saying, how he meant it. He was like, you know what I'm saying, I was just like counting down to 6 till the lights come back on, you know, so we can get order. But it wasn't no threat of like anybody finna fight and anything. But it was just like, you know what I'm saying, them dogs was out, man. They was
that
out.
Intensity, man. Turn that intensity up a notch for the last quarter.
Yeah. So but man, your thoughts on this game though?
I think Southern surprised me a little bit offensively. Harold Blood had a pretty good game. Obviously, running back stable with Coils and all them boys. But Musa, man, I think he kind
Shout out to Musa. Yeah, they been giving that boy hell all season.
He answered it though, man.
Yes, he
300
did.
plus yards passing, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
I think he kind of put the team on his back a little bit in that environment, you know. And it wasn't just the stats, you know. It was some of the intangibles. He showed leadership type, you know what I'm saying, keeping his team motivated throughout the game, things of that nature. I think he kind of had his coming out party, so to speak.
Yeah. Shout out to Musa, man. He 31, 53, 325, 2 tutties. The one thing about FAMU though that they still have to improve on, they've got to run the ball. They've got to find a way to get that, you know what I'm saying, get the rushing offense going.
Yeah.
Because right now, I mean, I'm not saying they can't run, but if I'm a team, do you trust Musa to, you know, do you stack the box and say, beat us with the throw and see if Musa can beat you?
I wouldn't even stack the box. I'd drop everybody in the coverage and make them run the ball. Prove to me that you can beat me running the ball.
Yeah, so they keep finding ways to win, though. So
I mean, that's what good teams do.
Yeah. So I give them credit for that. It's definitely nothing about. I don't think it's anything for Southern to hold their heads about. You know, it's like you said, Harold Blood. He was 11-19, 190 and a tutty. They had 125 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Gary Quarles was the leader in that backfield, 13 carries, 80 yards. CJ Russell had 2 touchdowns though. Big back came in 7 carries, 24 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Man, so FAMU is now 4-0 in the SWAC. Let's look at who they got left. They've got Texas Southern at Texas Southern this weekend. They welcome in Prairie View. They go to Alabama A&M. They got Lincoln, California, and then of course they finish off with the Florida Classic. So,
if I'm not mistaken, PV is their homecoming. That's gonna be. It could be a big game.
Huge.
Could be a SWAC championship preview game.
That really could. It really could. So, it's funny because we've said that about so many, like,
yeah,
you know, saying the Southern game Southern game is a could possibly be preview. But yeah, man, they 4-0. Jackson State Well, actually, we're gonna slow down. I ain't gonna go. Well, actually, let's go there. Let's go there. Jackson State right behind them at 2-1. They got a big victory this weekend. Jackson State took on Alabama A&M in Mobile in the Gulf Coast Classic or Gulf Coast Challenge, rather. Came out with the victory 45-30. They jumped out on them early. So, what's up, Krim? Appreciate you. Krim says hit the light.
Jason Brown silencing some doubters a little bit with this performance.
I would say he did. I think he did. The interesting thing about this performance, though, I'm going to pull up the stats. The numbers don't look like, it's not like looking at his numbers. You don't look at him and be like, it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? He had a pretty good day, but you're not like blown away. Except where it's like 14 to 26, 202, 3 touchdowns. And it's like, that's a pretty good day, you know, but it's like what Zoe talked about. If you don't, you know what I'm saying, if he add a couple more yards or whatever here or there, it's a totally different, you know what I'm saying, outlook on it. But he's doing what he needs to do. They're getting the wins.
Yeah, I think it was the way he managed the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The offense just looks smoother. That stable of running backs they got is ridiculous. Mulligan had another crazy game. This
of course
against A&M, but if it was for playing FAMU so early in the season, I think it could have been a different story.
I understand what you're saying.
Because they had so many players that they were still trying to, you know what I'm saying, get together, work, you know, and FAMU was kind of bringing the same team back. A lot of the same team back, whereas Jackson wouldn't. No,
Can we say the same thing for, you know, like the last few years or last year, especially for FAMU?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I just feel like that game of such importance being played so early in the season kind of, I don't know if it is a true test of how good those teams really are. You know what I mean? Like,
so here's the weird part about that. And I understand what you're saying, and you're exactly correct. But the team who played the week 0 game seemed like they would have a leg up because they'll be able to work out some of those kinks, you know, in the games they had.
You could have said the same thing last year, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like you know, in the 2 years, you know, but then, you know, FAMU had the situation, the administrative situation, that put them back.
Yeah.
This year, I think Jackson State had a couple guys banged up, maybe.
Yeah.
So it's like
Seven McGee back.
Yeah, so it's interesting, man. It is interesting. But this game was, like I said, Jackson State jumped out early. It was 21-0 before you knew it. A&M added a touchdown to make it 21-7, and then Jackson State came and added 2 more. It was 35-7 at half. So, and one thing I do know, A&M has been a second half team, you know what I'm saying, this season. For the most part, the only game that I feel like they didn't play better in the second half than they did in the first was homecoming when they played Tuskegee.
Yeah,
because they jumped out early on Tuskegee and then like kind of, you know,
took the foot off the gas.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, they came out, basically scored 23 in the second half to make the game close. Ended up being 45-30 for Jackson State. So you basically hold Jackson State to 10 points in the second half. So, I mean, kudos for the resilience, for the comeback. If they start a little bit, you know what I'm saying, a little bit. They also gave something else we talked about, special teams. I was saying that if you give Jackson State short field, if Jackson State kicking is an issue and you give Alabama A&M short field, it's going to be a problem. A&M turned the ball over in their territory and gave Jackson State short field. So,
yeah.
Trying to think what else. Speaking of, talked to Coach Taylor today. They found another kicker. on campus. So just walking around camp, you know what I'm saying? They had, I guess, walk-on trials, had, you know what I'm saying, found a kicker, and yeah, I asked Coach Taylor, man, like, how are you just like, y'all found more athletes on campus than people that found in the portal and recruiting. So it's just like, it's just fortunate, you know. So, you know, shout out to the, you know what I'm saying, shout out to him and that staff for, you know what I'm saying, like we talked about with Lalani, having the wherewithal to even go out and look for someone on campus and stuff, you know, and accepting what you get.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you got anything else on this one?
Nah.
All right. But with that being said, Jackson State is, they're second in the East, at 2-1. They got a game this weekend against Alabama State. They're homecoming. It's gonna be interesting.
Interesting one.
Yeah. So, next up, man, we got Grambling versus Alcorn. I'm sorry, Grambling State versus Alcorn State. Alcorn ended up winning 25-24. Scored with like a minute or something left. Take the lead, and
a little controversial.
Yeah. It what so it was the fair kick. Kind of, I don't know. It was
that touchdown call was a little controversial, but
talk to me about it. Talk to me about it.
I'm not getting into it. I'm not even getting into it. Not tonight, bro. I don't got the energy for it. But
oh man,
it was. I think he was in bounds, but it was just one of them call on the field review type situations.
Gotcha.
But I will say officiating has been kind of bad this year, and in the SWAC as a whole. From the Bethune getting 4 timeouts in the game to, you know what I mean, like it's been some situations that could get improved a lot.
Yeah. Our man Zach from the Blue Bloods said it best. I did not have Aaron Allen out playing Miles Crowley on my bingo card. Miles had, you know, by far his most forgettable performance. He was 14 of 27, 233, 1 touchdown, and 3 picks. Aaron Allen came in on fire, 20 of 31, 248, 3 touchdowns. He did have 1 pick. Neither team actually established a run very well, which was interesting because I thought that was the one thing Grambling had going for it, was their stable of backs. And also, then when you talk about Jarvion Howard, you would think that he was the leading rusher in the game, but
you thought he was gonna get his no matter what.
Right. So
I say that Grambling front 7 played a decent game. Lewis Matthews had a hell of a game. You gotta give Alcorn credit though. Man, they secondary kind of confused Miles, and like you said, that was the most forgettable game for him since he's been at Grambling. So, like you said at the beginning of the year, this game you had it been determining who wins the West, and that's still very possible as it's like a 3-way tie at the top.
Yeah, pull that up now. And I have to pull up to figure it out. I ain't even at the point where I'm trying to figure this out right now, but there is. So you got Prairie View at 3-1.
Yeah.
And then behind them all, 3-way ties at second place. They're all the half game back, of course, because of the extra game. But you got Alcorn at 2-1, Grambling at 2-1, Southern at 2-1. The whole tiebreaker scenario, we're not even ready for that yet.
No, because it's definitely a lot of football left to be played, man.
Yeah, and it's definitely gonna be very interesting when they do queue up and get to that point. But yeah, right now
Southern got to play everybody above them. Everybody. So it's gonna and Grambling still got to play Southern, obviously. So it's still a lot of football to be played, man.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, that's gonna be going forward. Going forward, it's gonna be very, very interesting. Next game we got on the docket, man. This turned out to be a sneaky good game. And some of the questions were answered. Some people are still not happy, but Bethune-Cookman versus Alabama State. Alabama State ended up getting the victory, 19-16. Damon Stewart started the game, then was pulled, put D. Davis in for a minute. Then he was pulled, and they put Damon Stewart back in. Alabama State went into half down 7-3, and ended up getting the victory. But yeah, a lot of people are not so. There's growing angst amongst fans amongst Alabama State fans, amongst Hornet fans about this rotating quarterback system they got. Now, Damon Stewart was 8 of 13, 150 and a touchdown. D. Davis was 6 of 9 for 54 yards and a pick. And they also had Isaiah Scott throw a pass, but it was incomplete. So, yeah.
I don't get it, bro.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
I don't get it. But
I mean, D. Davis was your leading rusher, 11 carries, 50 yards.
And I get that you want his legs makes him a guy that you kind of have to get touches for, but it's the usage, man. The way they use him and when they use him.
I agree. I completely agree. I feel like it disrupts the rhythm. If you're going and you're rotating quarterbacks. And that's something that is going to continue to be an issue. I think it's hampering his team. It's kind of, I don't know, a little discouraging. It can be discouraging to a team to, you get a guy going and then you end up pulling him. Put somebody else in and then you pull them. So I don't know. They get paid more than me. I got opinions.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Bethune though, man. They I feel like they're closer than people think, man.
Yeah. Talk to Coach Woody today. Hey, I'm trying to think how I asked them. Teams typically assume the identity of their head coach. Bethune, resilient, tenacious. So
yeah, they really are.
And it's like, it's funny because Coach Wood is a man of very few words. He gonna say what he got to say, and that's it. He ain't gonna try to add. He gonna try to embellish. He ain't gonna try to add more to it or not. He gonna say what he got to say, and that be it. And it's like I respect saying what he's doing. Considering where they were, I don't know if you cannot be encouraged about what you see, the fight you see in this team.
Oh yeah.
So, Jared Bell said Davis must have some secrets on Robinson. I'm not out. Never mind.
But yeah, like back to Bethune had a chance. They had the ball with the chance to win the game, bro.
They did.
Like, I mean, that's considering where this team was and some of the expectations for this team, for them to be in games like that, like Jared say, with their third string quarterback and playing with backups, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's testament to Coach Woody and what he's building over there. And I don't think it's gonna take as long as people think to make them a contender and a team that nobody really wants to see. Cause they already playing spoiler right now. You know what I mean? They gonna catch somebody slipping if they keep playing like this. Don't let them mess around and get healthy. So in the next year, 2 years, they're gonna be
I think
team
it's
that's
gonna be next year. I think next year they're gonna be competitive. I'm not saying they're gonna win the East and nothing like that, but Bethune, it ain't gonna take long for Bethune to be Bethune that caused havoc in the MEAC. So it ain't gonna take long. So we talked about this game being a get right, get back game. Mississippi Valley State versus Prairie View. Prairie View ended up getting a lick back from last year. Won the game 31-12.
yeah.
I think this was just, hey, get in, handle business, and get out. It's pretty much what it seems like. So
I mean,
I said 16, 1916, 1914. Tripping.
preview.
For no, I'm sorry, 1914 for the Bethune-Cookman game, Alabama State.
The preview was 31-14, something like that.
31. No, it was 31-12.
12. Okay. Yeah.
31-12.
Come in, like you said, come in, handle business, get back out of there, man. Don't let what happened last year happen. You know, where you overlook Valley and they come in and beat you. They just took care of business, man. Conley had a decent game passing.
Yeah, he had a really
defense played well. So I mean, but the Valley quarterback had a pretty good game too.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, so Trezon was 11-18, 259, 2 tutties. Tajarian Williams for Mississippi Valley was 18-31, 227, and a tutty. Don't count them out. They definitely on the verge of something special.
I just don't know if it's gonna be this year.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I don't think it's this year.
That game versus Bethune might be can I get a win game.
They got a can I get a win game this week? They got Pine Bluff at home.
True. That's true.
Yeah. But Pine Bluff coming off a bye week. We're able to refocus, get their mind right. We'll talk more about this matchup on Thursday. But if I got to pick, I think Pine Bluff is in a little bit better. Well, it's not hard, to see that they're in a little bit better position. The thing about it, with Valley starts off strong. They start off good, and then they just hit a lull. So I don't know. No, we can do about that. So, D-Lob.
What up, D-Lob?
Yeah, he gonna as soon as we say it's like D-Lob like Beetlejuice. You say UAPB too many times, he pop up. He said, nah, but for real, our running back room is banged up. I don't know. Yeah, I understand. I do think I think they got I think UAPB got a good chance. It's just like I said, I do think that if Valley is going to win one, is going I think it's got to be at home. It's going to have to be at home against somebody. They're going to have to catch somebody slipping. So it's either them Alabama State, maybe. We'll get into that. We'll talk about that. That's enough because that's going to start something else.
Let's see.
North Carolina Central, man, took on Elon. Beat the Fighting Twitter space 34-23. Oh, X spaces. Beat the X space people 34-23.
Jumped up inside the top 10, didn't they?
Yeah, number 9 in the FCS top 10 too. Congratulations to him. Well deserved. Davius Richard was he was efficient. That's probably the best way to put it. 21-35, 171, 1 touchdown. on the ground, he made some things happen. 11 carries, 114 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Crazy.
Latrell Collier.
Mookie.
I was gonna hit that Stewart stat. Mookie. 11 carries, 95 yards, and he added a touchdown as well. So big game for them. This was a big win. If I'm not mistaken, Central is 3-0 versus the CAA.
So that's placed in the MEAC and the CAA.
Yeah, they big time over them. And that good timing, man. They got a bye week.
Yep.
And then they get ready for conference play when they take on Morgan State in Baltimore on Thursday night. Yep. So that's big. That's big. But they also Morgan State was off this week because of the shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be interesting. I don't know if Morgan State has a let's see if what they doing. I don't know if Morgan State has a game this week. No,
they don't.
So Morgan State got 2 weeks. Get ready. So my thing is, are they going? It's not even so much a,
it's a mental thing.
Can they win? This one is going to be how can they slow down? Can they slow down the game enough to keep it close?
Defense versus him though is
yeah. Can they keep it close? It's gonna be the name of that game.
Morgan defense versus Davis Rashard is gonna be a hell of a matchup though.
Yeah. Yep. So next up, man, South Carolina State versus Virginia Lynchburg, man. Coach Buddy Pugh got another win to the resume. As he's taking his farewell tour. They won 56-6. It's not much. Virginia Lynchburg is like, yeah, beat up Capital. Corey Fields had another good game though. That's what I do take from this. He's been doing very well lately. 5 for 12, 155 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Efficient.
Very.
Five completions, 3 touchdowns. That's pretty.
5 completions, 155 yards is that is wow. But yeah, man. So rushing the ball, South Carolina State racked up 273 yards. So there you go. Next game, man. This one was actually one that I had my eye on. Howard versus Northwestern.
I had a shot.
They had a shot. Howard ended up losing this game 23-20, but they definitely made a strong comeback and did their thing. Eden James, man. Eden James, that boy is something special. 21 carries, 177 yards, and a touchdown. So
64-yard touchdown.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like I said, efforts came up a little short. I think it was a little controversy in that one as well at the end of the game that prevented Howard from getting the ball back. But anyway, Howard probably has 2 of the most, and I know Josh get mad when I say this. Howard got 2 of the most impressive losses I've seen this season.
Yeah, but
yeah, I know it's a loss. Yeah. But that makes me wonder what they're gonna look like during conference play, because 2-3, 2-3. Your 2 losses are against, 2 of your 3 losses are against Eastern Michigan and Northwestern, and those were what, one possession games.
Yeah.
And then you got, of course, you lost to Hampton. That was a one possession game too. So that was a 1 point game.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, let me look at this. If I'm not mistaken, they've lost. No, I'm sorry. Eastern Michigan added a touchdown late, so that was a 10-point loss. But they were in that game. Yeah,
they still got a something to say about who win the MEAC for sure. I think they right there with Morgan. You know what I mean? That a notch below in Central right now, but I think they still could. You don't want to come in and not play your best game versus Howard
at all. That was dumb. Jordan Love just took off running and then stepped out of bounds and with no time left and talking about we got 1 second. No, you don't, sir. No, you don't. Next up, man, I told you thought I was being. I know you probably thought I was being petty. Delaware State versus Central Connecticut. Central Connecticut won 51-44.
I have no words at this point.
There's nothing you really can say. They got work to do.
Yeah, they definitely do, my boy. But I mean, they lost a lot though, bro.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna be bad if they. I think they're in for a 1-for.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think conference play could be rough for them.
Yeah, it's gonna be real bad. Real bad. Next up, man, Eddie George and Tennessee State versus Kennesaw State. Tennessee State got the win 27-20. Big win. Tennessee State, man, they slowly but surely making their way up to OVC. Look like they gonna have something to say. Somebody said today they don't have we don't give enough love to Eddie George and Tennessee State.
I think that's fair.
I do as well. And I think it's just simply because they're not in a traditional HBCU conference.
Yeah.
So they often get forgotten.
Yeah. And they don't have the even like A&T and Hampton have the traditional ties, you know what I'm saying, to a HBCU conference. So there's still some rivalry, bad blood, and things of that nature that keeps them in the conversations, whereas Tennessee State doesn't have that. But they've been playing great ball though, man. If you look at their 2 losses to UT Martin and Notre Dame, I mean, that's nothing to slouch at.
All right. I think that UT Martin, they had a chance. That's one that they probably gonna regret at the end of the season. But yeah, man, I agree. Notre Dame and
UT Martin ain't a bad squad though.
No, they're not. But and the reason I said that because they had a chance.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. But when you look back at their record and who their resume, I don't think it's really a bad loss. And like Zach mentioned, if they didn't have that game versus Lincoln on their Lincoln CA, then they probably would be looking at a bona fide playoff berth with their resume. And they put what they got left, considering where they are in the OVC. I mean, I think that would be a potential berth, but maybe not this year because of considering their schedule.
Yeah. Man, somebody we were kind of high on, Hampton versus Campbell. Hampton let this one get away. They lost to Campbell 30-27. They had a chance.
Yeah.
They really had a chance, and they kind of poo-pooed the bed.
Then Campbell kind of came out a little pissed off.
That's fair. That is fair. I know we talked and how well is 1-1 in the CAA. So it's gonna be interesting. If I would have told you that Hampton would be, have a better record in the CAA than North Carolina A&T.
This year, I might would have believed you.
Really?
You talking about beginning of the season?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. But after week 1, I would have believed you.
Oh yeah. Speaking of North Carolina A&T, got Molly Wops, Villanova. Villanova beat them 37-14. This game was close for probably about a quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably about
quarter and a half, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah.
But after that, halftime the game was over.
Yeah. But man, that rounds out all of the D1 games that we had. So with that said, man, let's bring up the D1 HBCU top 10 from the Golden Boot. We got at number 10, with their loss, Southern falls to number 10. Grambling falls to number 9. Alcorn State moves up to number 8. Prairie moved up to number 7. Howard fell to number 6. Hampton fell to number 5. Tennessee State stayed put at number 4. Jackson State jumped to number 3. FAMU is now number 2, and Central reclaims their spot as the number 1 team on our poll. Thoughts, man? Well, anything you want to explain to the peoples?
Like you said, Jacob. That's just the beginning, though.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot more moving and shaking as the season goes on.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to say it now because some people may ask, because they asked, like when we moved Central to 2. I'm going to ask you, I know why, Mike, me personally. FAMU won. Why are they number 2 and why is Central back at number 1?
I mean, I test. It's the way you win.
I completely agree. Like looking at FAMU has played, they've found ways to win. They've done well. Central has gone out and played some tough teams in the CAA, and they also look like the team we expected them to look like in the beginning of the season. Yeah. They look healthy now. And when they look healthy like they do and they're playing like they are, Davis Richard is rolling like he is. I don't know if anybody can stop him. Any conference, period. Full stop. So I feel like even going into if they didn't do Celebration Bowl, if they went to FCS playoff, I feel like they will be a top seed. I mean, maybe not number 1, maybe not the
Yeah, I mean, they're number 9 right now. There's still a lot of season left to be played, so they're getting that top 5.
Yeah, so definitely, man. Much respect to them, though. There's a lot of season left to be played. I'm looking forward to, because somebody brought it up, we could be looking at in the Celebration Bowl 2 1-loss teams.
Yeah.
10-0 and 10-1 and 11-1 teams, and their only losses are to FBS schools. So
yeah, very possible.
That'd be big. All right. Now, man, let's move on to D2. Second, let me mark this down this time. This was to me the D2 game of the week. Benedict versus Miles.
Yeah.
I will say this. I thought this game would be a good game, but I was expecting a blowout. Shout out to Miles for continuing to compete in this game, and making and basically, if I'm not mistaken, it took a last minute touchdown by Benedict to win the game.
Yeah, Miles. Man, they was able to move the ball and score on that Benedict defense. So
yeah,
I came away very impressed with Miles, even though it was a loss, but
big comeback.
They're a better team than I thought they were.
Yeah, going into half, the score was 21-3. Going into the half, Miles came back, stormed back, came out of half, scored a touchdown, missed the extra point. They came back and scored again in the fourth. Then they scored again with 7 minutes, 49 seconds left in the fourth, went for 2 and got it. Then Benedict came down and scored on a 1-yard run, missed the extra point, and ended up winning 27-24. This is probably the first time Benedict is trailed all season. Well, I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh, yeah.
So, what a challenge, what a game. Definitely looking forward to seeing when the SIAC puts out their players of the week, who they have listed. I'm pretty sure it's going to be several from this game. So it's going to be interesting. Any thoughts before we move on?
Nah, I'm just Miles, bro. The way they came back and was able to put up points on Benedict defense. That's the biggest takeaway of the game for me.
Yeah. Much improved from last year. Definitely nothing to hold your head about. Looking forward to seeing them, throughout the rest of the season. We might see this matchup again.
Yeah. I would love to see it again.
Yeah. I shouldn't say neutral site, but no, I think this would be played in Columbia, South Carolina this time. So next up on the docket, man, you got Morehouse versus Tennessee in the Tuskegee in the Morehouse Tuskegee Classic in Birmingham. Tuskegee pulled off the win 40-28. Good bounce back from last week. Get that nasty taste out of their mouth. Pause. And it was a big win.
Yeah. They still undefeated in conference play. Only loss is that loss from last week. So they still
4-0.
they keep rolling. Tough year this year for Morehouse though, man.
Yeah. For a new year under a new head coach, Coach Wilcher. Just give him time.
Yeah.
Give him time. That's all you can do. Next up, man, Savannah State versus Fort Valley State. This one was decent game. Fort Valley State got the win 38-24. Fort Valley State still the number 2 team, in the
5-0 conference play.
No, they should be. Yeah, they are. I forgot that the loss didn't count because it's the classic against the Red Tail Classic didn't count. But yeah, 5-0 in conference play. Again, that one loss is to Tuskegee in a game that's not a conference game.
And they got Benedict this week
on Thursday night on ESPNU, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
ESPNU, ESPN2. Hold on, give me 1 second. Savannah State actually, they were up in this game. The score at half was 17-10. Fort Valley State unloaded in the third quarter to take the lead and not look back. But yeah, that game this week is on ESPN2 on 7:30 ESPN2 on Thursday night. Fort Valley State at Benedict. It's gonna be a good one.
Yep.
Definitely looking forward to talking about that one a little bit more. Next game on the docket, man. Clark Atlanta versus Allen. This game wasn't even close. Well, I take that back. I'm sorry. Allen, I'm thinking about another game. Allen won 35-27, getting back on the winning track for them. Clark Atlanta continues to struggle, even after letting go Coach Slater. I don't know what it's going to take. It's going to take but I know D2 was kind of he made mention that said, they expected Willie Slater to come in and rebuild, but you got to have something to rebuild. They hadn't built anything yet, so
yeah. Tough year for them, man, just like Morehouse.
Yeah. Now, this next game was one that our man Kelly Flicks.
Yeah,
he said by 21, and we laughed. Virginia State beat Bowie State 44-16. That's 28. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 28. On Bowie State homecoming. So, unfortunately, I do want to say our condolences, and we're praying for Bowie State. There was a shooting on their campus as well this past weekend. The senseless violence has got to stop. So it's got to stop. Next up, man, Virginia Union versus Elizabeth City State. Virginia Union won this one 42-20. I don't know. Jada Byers.
Of course. What else?
Yeah. He this performance propelled him to a conference honors. We're going to talk about that shortly. But Jada Byers, you ready for this?
Oh, I've seen them numbers. They're ridiculous.
26 carries, 246 yards, 2 touchdowns. Man was averaging 9 yards a carry.
Yeah. On 26 carries.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. So he definitely got conference honors behind this game. There we go. Garoppolo threw a pick. Needed that. This one was a shocker to me. This game here. Livingstone versus Winston-Salem State.
Stephen A. Smiths.
Yeah, they the Stephen A. Smith. Livingstone got the win 23-21 on the last second field goal.
On the road. Big win.
So big shout out to them. Livingstone has been finding ways to win. Lately with some big upsets. That was a huge one.
Yep, they both 2-2 in the conference play.
Yeah. Winston-Salem started off strong and starting to lose the last few. So next up, man, we got the HBCU Nightly Bowl, Lincoln, PA versus Bluefield State. This was actually a one possession game. Lincoln ended up winning 52-44, owning bragging rights over Coach Coaxum on the year.
Yeah,
but man, shout out to Bluefield State.
Shout out Coach G.
Yeah, keeping it close. Both teams, up and coming. As far as I know, Bluefield State, being as new as they are, being competitive, that's got to, something to look out for, be proud of. So, but other than that, man, other games, D2 games, it's a couple I didn't mention. Here we go. One was it was a big blowout, and I was like, nope, I'm not putting it on there. Johnson C. Smith, Shaw beating Johnson C. Smith 21-10. Fayetteville State squeaking by St. Augustine 7-0. Albany State, this was the blowout. Albany State blew out Central State 48-0.
Yep.
Edward Waters squeaked by Lane 37-30. And Grand Valley State welcomed Kentucky State to a ass whooping, basically. Beat them 65-7. That's it, man. That's all the other games we had. So yeah, what's good, Flicks? So let's see. Conference players of the week.
Let's run it.
All right, here we go. Hold on one second, because I gotta have to do this a certain way, because not the conferences submitted theirs yet. But here we go for the SWAC. No surprise here. Jeremy Musa got the offensive quarterback from FAMU, got the offensive player of the week for the SWAC. Colton Bubba Adams, Pride of Wetumpka, and they be cheating, got the defensive player of the week. The kicker, Jaden John, was the specialist from Alabama State. He was the specialist of the week. And Irv Mulligan, running back out of Jackson State, is the newcomer of the week. So
can't go wrong with them.
No. CIAA, here we go. Quarterback of the week was Isaiah Freeman from Lincoln, PA. He's been a returning member of that, food line player of the week for the CIAA. Then you've got offensive back was Jada Byers from Virginia Union. No surprise there. Receiver was Quinzel Lockhart from Elizabeth City State. Offensive lineman was Jason Wright from Virginia State. Defensive lineman was Adam Aiken from St. Augustine. Linebacker was Devon Grant from Elizabeth City State. Defensive back was Noah Gibson from Shaw. Special teams, Jason Zabata from Livingstone. And the rookie was Isaiah Till from Bluefield State. So those are your CIAA food line players of the week. So what we got left? That's about it, my boy. What you got? Anything, as we get ready to wrap up, you got anything for us to get up out of here on?
Nah, man, that's all I got till Thursday.
Yeah, looking forward to another great slate of games. And some telling Thursday night will be like a watch party. Might have to get Flicks on him. I don't know if he got a show. Flicks, if you watching, so hit us up, man. Let's talk about this. I know somebody else we can hit up to, because I know he want to talk about it. But we're gonna see. See y'all on Thursday. We'll be watching we'll be breaking down the week's matchups, and we'll also be talking about this Benedict versus Fort Valley State preseason 1 and 2, 5-0 in the conference versus 5-0 in the conference.
I think one of them 4-0 in the conference, but either way,
it might be Benedict, might be 4-0 in the conference then. But either way, both undefeated in the conference. This is for the conference lead. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, nothing else, man. Like that, we out. See y'all on Thursday.
This show was presented by betonline.ag.
Bring me my money.